Bro, so Cristiano Ronaldo DM'd me earlier today.
Yeah.
Did I send this to you?
No.
He DM'd me and he said, "Yo, bro, it's me, Ronaldo. I missed the team bus. Need
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
500 to go to the game.
Right,
I
right, right,
get
right.
to your tryouts at Real Madrid. I'll get you a tryout at Real Madrid. I know the coach, bro."
Okay, did you give him bread?
Well, yeah, of course.
Alright, good. When's the tryout?
I don't know. He hasn't hit me back. So
Alright.
I'm
Well,
just waiting on that. I gave him $500, so I should be getting a tryout with Real Madrid, but
Madrid.
Madrid. Anyway, yeah, I mean, the two outcomes happened that we didn't want to have happen pretty much. I think that like sports fans probably like feel that way, that like didn't have a real team in the race. Like if you're not a Chiefs fan and you're not a 49ers fan, like you were probably rooting for like the Ravens and the Lions.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I know anybody that's a Lions, Chiefs, or Niners fan anyways. I know one person that likes the Ravens, but, I mean, other than that, I don't know any fans of those 3 fan bases, but as a neutral bystander, I wanted the Lions one of the Lions or the Ravens to be in, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, we got neither, but with that being said, I still think it's gonna be a phenomenal Super Bowl, even though nobody wanted these 2 teams to be in it.
Well, I have something to say here. I'm There's a few things that I took away from these games this weekend, and the Lions Niners game was like I thought was a positive football game. I thought it was a great football game. But on the other side of the table, the Ravens Chiefs game was honestly one of the worst games I've ever seen officiated in my entire life. And I mean that by saying whatever's going on with the pass interference calls in the NFL, like you either need to call it every single time or you need to not call it every single time. Because when it's like up in the air every single fucking time that a ball gets thrown, it's honestly pretty annoying. Because the Eagles lost a Super Bowl on a shirt pull. And then there were multiple occasions where I thought the Ravens probably should have gotten a call when the one big one was when Isaiah Likely got trucked, and then at the end of the game when Lamar threw into double coverage when Isaiah Likely threw up the hand, like Isaiah Likely got fucking mollywopped before that ball was even like close to being caught, and it's just like, and I get it, it's the end of the game, but what is going on with these calls that is and even an occurrence? Because when you're watching it you're like, okay, like that's a bad no call, but like it's not getting called, like, so that pissed me off. And probably the most chicken shit like call that I've ever seen in my entire fucking life was hitting Zay Flowers with a taunting penalty when it seemed completely unnecessary. Like in that situation, the Ravens are at home. They're driving for the first time the entire game. Zay just makes the play to pretty much swing the entire momentum to get them back into the game, and he gets up and he's fired up, and then they call him for a taunting call. Like at a point you need to you're in the AFC championship game. This isn't week 6. Like you have to swallow the whistles in that situation. Like you should never want to be the referee crew that could be like, wow, like damn, that game that we just ref, like it probably could have gone a lot differently if Zay Flowers didn't stand up and flex. Like that's a stupid fucking reason to have an outcome of a game get switched so heavily. And then what ended up ultimately happening is Zay tried to make a play, they punched out the ball, and it was a fumble. I don't think that you're not put in that situation if you don't get that penalty called on that play. So I just think that one, the lack of like consistency from the pass interference penalty on all sides of the ball, and then you, I never ever in my entire life want to see a taunting penalty unless if the guy fucking rips his helmet off and flexes in front of his face or something, or like teabags him. Like, I don't want to see any taunting penalties in the NFL football playoffs. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And I honestly think that ultimately cost them the game.
Yeah, so you covered a couple things there, and I'm glad that you brought all of them up because I did want to go over them. That Isaiah Likely pass interference, the one where it was just like a that was compared to the uh the James Bradbury play from last
Yeah.
year in the Super Bowl. I mean, I thought that one was absolutely terrible, and I'm right there with you. I don't understand h- how these refs pick and choose which ones they want to call as pass interference and which ones they don't. I mean, at the very least, I mean that's holding or something, but
It's
that
got to be
can't
something.
that can't be a no call there. And I understand you want to let the guys play, but like there has to be a certain extent to where you're still doing your job as a referee, and completely swallowing the whistle on a play like that where it's everybody that's watching knows that that's PI. Whether you're a Chiefs fan, I know if you're a Chiefs fan in that scenario, you're counting your blessings because you're on the other side of that, like, holy crap, how did that not get called? And as a Ravens fan, you're frustrated because that's a clear pass interference holding penalty that would have completely changed momentum in that game and certainly helped out the struggling offense of the Ravens. So it's just really bad. And I mean, I don't know what we do. Like there's got to be a line in the sand as to what is a pass interference and what's not, because in I would say majority of everybody that's watching that game, they're thinking, okay, I thought that that's pass interference, but if that's not pass interference, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So there's that. The taunting penalty. I also agree with you there. I think taunting is the dumbest penalty in the NFL. These guys are grown men. They can handle if somebody gets up in their face a little bit after a big play is made, even if they're not in somebody's face and they're doing some type of celebration, they can handle it. And if things do get out of control to the point where it's no longer just a celebration, then I think you can call the penalty. But do I think what Zay Flowers did was worth a taunting penalty? No. But at the same time, I can understand kind of how the refs made the call on that, because he did get up and he did push down that corner or safety, whoever was covering him, barely, but he did it. And then he just like stood over him and 99% of the time I see that get called as taunting. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. Are these grown men? Can they handle it? Absolutely. Does taunting
But
suck? Yes.
you just gave a great example though. Like, you want to watch the guys play, like let the guys play. Like, you're not going to call pass interference calls, but then you do that. It's
I
just
know.
it just doesn't
It's
make sense. Like,
it doesn't at all.
yeah.
I, and
Um
I I think that taunting is stupid unless it gets too far, right? And do I think that was too far? Probably not. But
if he
at what
provokes
point?
him, let's just say, and he gets up and shoves him or whatever, and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
okay,
That's too
boom,
far.
boom, boom, 2 15-yard personal fouls, they offset. That's how it should have went. Like, he
Yeah,
didn't
because
even get the DB didn't even get provoked. He just got up. He knew that he just got fucking mossed. Like,
yeah,
he knew, he was like, I have to deal with him being fired up right now because I just got mossed. Like, plain and simple. And he got up and like took it like a champ. Like, and if even if it does get to the point where he does get provoked and like shoves him back, I think it should be offsetting penalties.
I mean, it didn't even get to that point, so I don't.
Exactly.
We shouldn't even have to worry about it. But in this instance, I don't think taunting should have been called. But because I don't like the taunting penalty, I think it's stupid. I think they're grown men and they can handle it. But I understand why it was called, even though I don't agree with it. But yeah, that's obviously a huge play. I mean, the Ravens' offense was so stagnant like the entire game, and then for them to finally get a big momentum play like that and just have to come back 15 yards is killer. I still think they should have been able to execute, and they still had the ball in a good spot, but obviously 15-yard difference really hurts when you are struggling to move the football all day long.
Yeah, and honestly, the thing that stuck out to me most in this game is Mike McDonald absolutely came in with a dog shit game plan. They went up 7-0, and he pretty much threw out that what they did the entire season and didn't set up Lamar for success in any way, shape, or form. And it
I
was
think you're
tough.
talking about the wrong coordinator.
Todd Munkin. Todd
Yeah.
Munkin, his game plan coming out for the offense this past week was absolutely dog shit. He didn't set up the offense to succeed. He didn't set up Lamar to succeed at all. And it was really tough to watch. It actually was pissing me off because it was like, one, when you, let's just say, if you're like handicapping this game and betting on this game, something that you were taking into account when you're betting this game is the Ravens run game. Their running backs had 7 carries
Yep.
between all of them. And we talked about it last week. We're like, well, if they can just pound the rock the entire time, that's going to be dangerous. Okay, that's great. But instead, they pretty much like told Lamar to play hero ball. He made some amazing plays, some highlight reel plays. He caught a ball by himself. He threw an absolute dart downfield to Zay Flowers. But then, like, other than that, like, he struggled because the offense wasn't giving him anything. Like, Munkin wasn't giving him any opportunities to complete easy balls, to do anything. And then the wide receiver Odell is cool and fresh, and like he seems to be like everybody likes him. I never want to see Odell Beckham Jr. on another football team in my entire life. One, he's so self-centered. He does nothing. He goes out there for 4 quarters and does cardio. And then after the game, and then on the game, during the game in the fourth quarter, he's over he needs a photo op, he needs a video op. So he's on the sideline, like hugging Lamar, like with his hand behind his head, like talking to him. And then after the fucking game, he's like on the field, smiling ear to ear, dapping everybody up. Like, I never want to see Odell on another team ever again. That was an app. Did nothing the entire season. He provided zero value, in my opinion. And he's way past his prime and sucks. And on the other side of things, you get Mark Andrews back and you have an Isaiah Likely who's been playing at a really high level. I thought that's the best Zay Flowers look the entire season. He stepped up in the biggest moments, and then you didn't execute on the run game with the running backs who got you there, and you didn't set up Lamar with easy stuff to try to build his confidence up, and instead you had him playing from behind. And like, instead of them playing from behind by like a touchdown, which they were acting like they were down 28 points, and it completely fucked everything up.
Yeah, so I wrote down every play for the Ravens' first 3 drives, because what I thought was going to happen was they were going to, like we both thought, set up that run game and then build up the passing game off of it. So their first drive was handoff to the right, Lamar scramble right for 2 yards, incomplete pass attempt out to Nelson Aguilar. They punted.
He
Second
dropped
drive,
that.
yes. Throw, like Lamar scramble, throw the ball away. 2nd and 10, 9-yard throw to Andrews in the middle, run up the middle for no gain. 4th and 1, 21-yard run by Lamar. 15-yard run to the right by Gus Edwards. Lamar escapes a sack and finds Zay Flowers in the end zone. A lot of passing plays.
Yeah.
Third drive, Zay Flowers 9-yard catch, incomplete pass to the right to Zay Flowers. Justice Hill 4-yard run for a first down, strip sack. Chiefs recover. Next drive, Justice Hill 3-yard run. Lamar tipped pass to himself for 13 yards. End around to Zay Flowers for 1 yard. Incomplete pass to Zay Flowers, punt. So probably like 3 running plays to your running back in those first 3 drives.
Ridiculous.
There was no reason for them to abort their game plan unless their game plan was originally let's throw the football as much as we can. There's no reason for them to abort it that quickly. They were only down by a touchdown, even though it felt like more. And I think they really should have stuck to running the football and really tried to build up that run game. I mean, the Chiefs defense is 26th, I think, in what estimated yards per play from a defensive standpoint in terms of running, and they're like 4th in EPA and in passing. So like their strength on defense is pass coverage, and their weakness is run coverage. So
Yeah, they have great corners.
they aborted their game plan way too soon and just really put Lamar in a tough spot. And now I think Lamar did a good job all year passing the football, but he just looked so uncomfortable in this game. And I think there was a couple instances where he could have just ran out of the pocket and used his legs, but I think he was just too set on trying to throw the football.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because of the OC saying, "Hey, stick in the pocket," or maybe he was hearing outside noise about like him being too much of a runner. I don't know what it was, but
I mean, he was
in
averaging like 100 yards a game, like from the 2 last weeks of the season, the entire playoffs. I don't think that's the case at all,
I
but
don't know what
yeah.
it was, but either way, I think he had a couple opportunities where he could have ran the football and got some big play yards, and I don't know if he what the issue was. He was hesitant to do so, and um, it it ended up costing them. As far as Odell, he was pretty much a rumor the entire season. Um, that video of him talking, I saw a different video of him talking to Lamar about like trying to make some plays with his legs, and I don't know if that was because like I don't know if he like I said, I don't know if Lamar was staying in the pocket because he was being told stay in the pocket or keep your eyes downfield and try and throw the football, but I don't know. I saw that video. I didn't see the one that you were talking about, and I didn't see the photo op at the very end, I don't think. But either way, like we know that that's what Odell's about, so truly it's not surprising.
Yeah, it's not. It's just it's so frustrating when you see guys like Lamar and Zay Flowers play, those guys care so fucking much. Like,
Yeah.
and I know that sounds so stupid to say you're in the AFC championship, but like those guys literally left it all out on the field. Even if Lamar didn't have like the best game ever, like he cared and was trying to will that team back into the game like heavily. And like Zay ball absolutely stupid balled. Like
Yeah.
regardless of that fumble, like that shit does not matter. He balled. And like it just sucks when you see guys like who are on the defense who cares so much and guys on the offense who care so much. And then you have Odell, like I'm over seeing him on the football field. That's just me though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't if you are a team and you look at his season this year, like realistically, you're not going to give him the type of deal that the Ravens gave him. The Ravens were kind of in a tough spot where they had a lot of questions as far as receivers go, and they took a shot, and it was thankfully for them. I'm pretty sure it was a 1 year deal.
Yeah, 1 year,
So
15 million.
I mean, they had a really good year. Lamar had an MVP season. I mean, I think looking back at this year, you evaluate, and I don't think they end up giving him another deal. I don't think anybody gives him a deal for what he's looking for as far as money goes. I don't even know what type of money he deserves, if any, but I'm sure somebody will take a chance on him, but it'll probably be at like the lowest possible amount. And I mean, it is what it is. Like he's still the name Odell still carries weight, I'm sure, but I personally wouldn't want him on my team at this point.
No.
So
Um Something else that I said like what's your headline going in? I said Chiefs weapons let them down. I was on the opposite side of things the entire season where I thought that it was extremely fluky, like the shit that was going on with their weapons. Like, and then this game comes around. I never want to hear about how one, they have the number one defense in the entire NFL. Two, their weapons are super legit. And they like Patrick Mahomes is legitimately playing with the best tight end to ever play football. Like it's just no argument. And on top of that, he has Rasheed Rice, who is turning into like he's going to be a very good player in the NFL. There's no doubt about that. And then on top of it, like all of those other players are NFL veterans who've been around the block. And Isaiah Pacheco is legitimately a top 5 running back. I don't like him. I don't like how he plays. I hate how he runs. He pisses me off. But he is a top 5 running back. Like there's like nothing, there's no argument about that. So with everybody, like I know that the season didn't go exactly as planned, and I think that that probably has a lot to do with coaching and the coordinator changes. But ultimately, like you have the best quarterback in the league, you have the best tight end to ever play the game of football. You absolutely nailed the Rashee Rice pick. You have a top 5 running back, and you have the best defense in the NFL, or the second best defense behind the Ravens, whatever. Like I said this to Nick the other day. I said I would argue that this is one of the best teams that Mahomes has ever played on. Like from it might not be as like flashy or like as like clean offensively as like everybody's used to seeing, but like as a complete team standpoint, like everybody was sitting here and being like, well, they have a lot to address in the offseason, like blah blah blah, like they'll never do this to Mahomes ever again. It's like, what are you talking about? Because they're in the Super Bowl, they're playing at an extremely high level, they have really great weapons all around him, and if Rasheed Rice can continue to develop into the wide receiver, which I think that I think everybody like universally kind of can agree that he's pretty fucking good. Like, I don't understand what the Chiefs would change other than continuing to either build up the defense, build up the trenches, and maybe get some weapons in on like free agency. But other than that, I think that the Chiefs are doing like a really great job. And I'm done hearing about how the Chiefs don't have good weapons.
I mean, I think it was fair to make that comment throughout the season because these guys were not good during the year. I mean, Rashee Rice had his moments. Kelsey was a shell of himself, but I mean, once the playoffs started, Kelsey just turned it on. And Rashee Rice, although it did take some time, I agree he has turned into a pretty good player. But I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that the rest of those receivers and tight ends on that team are anything special. I think Pacheco's really good. So they have they have 3 good weapons, I would say, which
Okay,
is should
what do
be
you
plenty. Which should be
who
plenty. It should be plenty.
would you rather have Gus Edwards or Isaiah Pacheco?
Um,
Isaiah Pacheco.
Pacheco,
Would you
yeah,
rather have Lamar or Mahomes?
Lamar.
Wo-
I mean, sorry, Mahomes. Mahomes. Sorry.
Would you rather have Kelsey or Mark Andrews?
I mean Kelsey, but I'm not going to
Would
sit
you
here.
rather
I'm not saying
and then
that.
the
I'm
only
not,
thing that we could sit here and say is like, would you rather have Zay Flowers or Rasheed Rice? And they're both pretty damn good players. And so I don't agree with the notion that these are bad weapons.
but I'm saying they were early, like they were halfway through the season. They've obviously Travis Kelsey has obviously played much better these last 3 weeks. There's no doubt about it. We didn't see this Travis Kelsey throughout the season, and Rasheed Rice within the last couple weeks as well, plus the last couple weeks of the season, has really started to turn it on and figure it out and develop that chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. But I think when we were making these comments, it was fair play. I think now these guys are better and playing at a much higher level than they were, which is to be expected when you get to the playoffs. I mean, it's not everybody's capable of turning up like that, but we know that Travis Kelsey is liable to go off for a type of game that he did realistically at any point. And I think we saw enough in the second half of the season from Rashee Rice to say, okay, this is a good player. I also think having Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes lends you to be in a spot where you are successful. And I think when we were making the comments about these guys not this group of players, I think we were always Pacheco was good. I don't ever think there was a doubt about that. But at one point, like halfway through the season, this group of players was not playing well. And I don't think there's any doubt about that. But within the last few weeks, like I said, plus the end of the season, Kelsey's looked a lot better and Rashee Rice has looked a lot better.
Yeah.
But there's
Like
obviously no doubt. I'm not going to sit here and say, though, that I'm taking the Ravens receiving core and running backs over the Chiefs. Like that would be foolish.
exactly. But that's a great point. because all that you hear pretty much is how bad this group is and how and this is just stuff that I'm like that I've listened to like for the last like month and a half. Like, can't get away with doing this with Mahomes. Like, you can't do this, blah blah blah. It's like, what can't they do? They're in the Super Bowl and they have really great players. What else do you want? Like that, like at the end of the day, like everybody's sitting here trying to like dissect like who's the best team in the NFL. Like, we have the answers. We just watched it play out. The Chiefs have really great young players on both sides of the football, and they have the best quarterback in the game. So what else could you possibly want from a team building perspective?
Is that rhetorical, or are you asking me legitimately?
I think that one, I think it's a rhetorical question, but if you have a legitimate answer to like fire back at me, like, go ahead.
Um, I mean, I don't know what type of player lends them to this, but I think they definitely need to. Obviously, they do, maybe they don't, because
They
I was
don't.
gonna say I was no, well, I was gonna say maybe somebody to help shore up the run game, but like that defensive line and linebackers have done enough the last 2 weeks to get by and to win in
Like,
two of the games that matter most. So like,
and they just had the team who rushed for 285 yards the week before and held them to 7 carries.
yeah. So I mean, I don't from like maybe like a player like personnel point. I don't think that would hurt to have somebody just so you don't have the 26th worst rush defense in the NFL. But like at the end of the day, that's a hard argument for me because of what we've seen these last 2 weeks. So I
I
also think it goes back onto just how good this coaching staff is, because these last 2 weeks when everybody, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people were very down on the Chiefs, and they have just completely dialed it in. And I think that's just a testament to, I forget the DC's name, but he's
Spags.
amazing. Yeah, he's phenomenal. And then
Yeah.
obviously Andy Reid is Andy Reid. So like,
Yeah, I think Spags deserves a ton of credit for this run. I do. I mean,
yeah,
he's
for
proven that
sure.
he's the best in the game. Like, and it's hard to kind of even slightly argue with that. So, yeah, I agree with you. Their coaching's big. They have, bro, like, you look at their corners, like everything about this team. Like, I hate the Chiefs, and you know that I hate the Chiefs. I never compliment them, and I'm literally sitting here saying all of this. Like, I think that, like, I think the media and like everybody like loves the idea of Mahomes so much that they like belittle everybody else like that's like involved in the situation, where it's like, no, like Mahomes is also really great, but like they also have really great players all over the field.
I mean, I don't have any other comments on that. I mean, all else that I would say is in terms of this Ravens Chiefs game is that the Chiefs still have an issue when it comes to the second half and scoring the football.
Yeah.
Um, and who knows if that's going to come back to bite them in the ass. But I would say that that's probably something to look for, mm, as far as like the Super Bowl goes, because I don't think they scored in the second half
No,
again, which has been their Achilles heel the entire season.
for sure.
Which is
Great.
crazy, because a team with Patrick Mahomes leading them to struggle to score points in the second half of a game is like doesn't correlate.
Doesn't
Or it shouldn't.
correlate.
It shouldn't.
It doesn't, but it speaks measures of how great the defense is playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
they get their like they just get their work done in the first half. They take a lead and the defense just like anacondas the opposing offense pretty much and just like suffocates them.
And if you guys have listened at all throughout this entire season, like, and if the Chiefs have gotten brought up, me and Noah have never spoken about the Chiefs like this. We just have no choice to anymore, and it sucks. But
Yeah.
that's the situation that we're in.
Yeah.
Then the next game, the Lions versus the 49ers, maybe the coolest game of the playoffs. First thing that I have to say is, if you think Dan Campbell should be fired after what he's has done for the city of Detroit and this Lions organization, you just shouldn't talk about football. You're stupid.
Were people
Um,
saying that?
yeah. Oh, bro, that was a big thing. Big thing. Like after the
Who
game.
was saying that?
I can't give you an exact I sound like LeBron. Like I can't give you like an exact like person that said it, but like people on the Ringer brought it up. It was a big thing that was getting like aggregated like on like the ESPN news waves and like shit like that. I can't tell you the exact people because I don't watch ESPN every single day, so I don't know who they are. But like, yeah, that was a thing where it was just like I saw that and it was just like if you actually what Dan Campbell has done for Detroit and the entire organization like is going to be studied. Like he completely changed an entire
Put it in the
organization
MoMA.
who had absolutely nothing going for them and made them extremely relevant, has everybody talking about them, have great young exciting players and like what I just don't know what else you want. Like not everybody can win every single game. We talk about this a lot and like it sucks that they went out the way that they did and I know that everybody was sitting there saying that he had some questionable coaching decisions. Dan Campbell's been the same guy the entire year. So don't be fucking shocked that he went out and did this in the NFC Championship because everybody knew he was going to do it. That's what makes him different from all these other guys across the entire NFL, which Bill Simmons said this. Like, he was like, it just seemed like Dan Campbell had no idea what he was doing and he had 17 and he was hitting. Like, I could see that, but Dan Campbell knew exactly what he was doing. He's been the same guy the entire year. That's why he can always look at his guys in the eyes and say, guys, we do this. This is what we do. We go for it in these types of situations. And if they get it, they know that they're going to get it. And if they don't get it, they can all look at each other collectively and be like, that was our mindset the entire year. We live by it. We die by it. And that's just the way it goes. But any claim that Dan Campbell should be fired after what he's done is absolutely foolish.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I didn't see any of those takes because that's absolutely foolish. This team was a absolute joke before he got there, and within 3 years, they went from laughing stock to 500 to NFC Championship. They were one half of football away from playing in a Super Bowl,
Mhm.
and obviously they didn't get the job done. But if you're a Lions fan, this has to that loss stings. You're like I said, you're a half of football away. But if you're a Lions fan, you have to be absolutely thrilled with the season that you had to have Dan Campbell as your coach. I mean, I love his coaching style. I love somebody that's going to absolutely put their nuts on the line, which we saw this man do that the entire season. He probably went for it on fourth down more than anybody else in the NFL, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And he was a guy that was going to go out there and just give you everything he had. So for the people that were saying like he had no idea what he was doing, we know who Dan Campbell is as a head coach. He's somebody that's going to go for it on fourth down. He's somebody that's going to be really aggressive. And if things don't go his way, he's going to take responsibility for it. And that's just who he's been all year. So for people to go out there and expect him not to be aggressive in the NFC Championship game because it's the NFC Championship game, they clearly haven't been paying enough attention to Dan Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be fair, this is his aggressive coaching style is what got them there.
Yeah.
Like you are going to go out on your shield, and that's exactly what Dan Campbell did. I would I have made the same decisions that he made? I don't. If I'm him, I probably do. But if I'm me, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm. It's not an easy situation because, like I said, those types of plays and those types of situations and being super aggressive is what got the Lions there in the first place.
It,
I think
on
in that second half, what happened was the the Niners just got the ball. Like the Niners just had some bounces start to roll their way. Like the Jameer Gibbs fumble, obviously very unfortunate,
yeah.
right? And then
That's a
the
big
uh
mistake.
the Ayuk touchdown is
Insane.
one in a million. Like
Yeah.
those are just two plays that they weren't getting in the first half, and it's not like the Niners aren't a good football team in the first place. So like I wouldn't expect them to go and just fold and pack it in anyways. So like it was a great game. Obviously, it hurts if you're a Lions fan, but that second half just bounced pretty much everything bounced the Niners' way. And like I don't know if there's really anything that the Lions could have done. Like when you get a play like that Ayuk touchdown, that's a play where I look at it and I'm like, well, we're fucked.
Bro, that play was sick.
It was
Like,
it was
it was
awesome. It
awesome.
was so sick. But like if you're a Lions fan, you're like, what the fuck? Is this really about to happen?
Bro, honestly, I know that this is going to be extremely hard to have this conversation with you, but the reason that the 49ers won this game is because Brock Purdy literally willed them back into this football game. Nothing else to say. He played out of his mind. He was aggressive. He pushed the ball downfield when like a lot of people maybe would try to take care of the football and like play maybe a little bit more conservative. He was like, we need to get back in this game. I'm going to push the ball down the field. I'm going to make plays. I'm going to make plays with my feet. And he literally willed them back into this football game, whether you like to say it or not. So
I
literally
mean,
the
he had
week
no choice.
before,
He had to be aggressive on offense. He had to push the ball down the field, and it's on the Lions for not making the adjustment. Obviously, you're not coming into a football game and you're like, "Wow, we're Brock Purdy's going to run all over us." But if there gets to a point where these defensive linemen aren't keeping like their gap contained when they're rushing, and it's leaving these huge gaps for quarterback, like for Brock Purdy to escape, like at some point you have to make some type of adjustment because there was a couple runs where he was just able to rip off like 15 yards at a time.
and I mean, dude, Brock Purdy, his over under in rushing was like 11 and a half. Like
Yeah.
he's not a rushing like I've never seen Purdy run like that like ever since he started playing. So I just think that like Purdy is an extremely polarizing figure for whatever reason, and I don't know why. He's the last pick in the draft. He is playing at an extremely high level. He's doing pretty much everything right. He had a game-winning drive last week to send them into the NFC Championship, and then this week when he was playing like shit the entire game when it mattered most, he figured it out, got them the win. And then this past week, I think you absolutely have to credit him for willing them back into this game. It was a very impressive performance, and we'll see if he can carry it over. But you have to give some Brock Purdy love. I mean, that guy was literally the last pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, I mean, what I just said is as far as I'll go as far as giving him credit. He made the plays he needed to make. He was aggressive, and
Why are you so like anti Purdy?
I'm just anti Niners. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this Niners team's really good. I mean, I think that what you're going to see moving forward are a lot of teams try to replicate like what the Niners are gonna do, not by taking a quarterback late in the draft and hoping to fuck that he works out, but from the case of like going all in. Like I saw Jerry Jones today say like we're going all in for a Super Bowl next year. And that's what the Niners have done. Like they've taken really great players in the draft. Like they nailed the Debo Samuel pick. He was a second rounder. You trade for Christian McCaffrey, you make key signings and acquisitions during free agency like Trent Williams. Like this team's just really really good, and like they sold out for everything. And like we'll see if it works. Obviously, I think this is a big legacy moment for Kyle Shanahan to finally bring home a Super Bowl. Like he needs to do it. I think if not, I think it could probably be like a I'm not going to say he's going to get fired because I think that's extreme, but I think at some point, if he can't bring one home for the Niners organization, like they might have to like figure something out elsewhere. And I don't know what that looks like, but yeah, I mean, like this team is serious. So like good for them. And I thought I remember when me and Andrew were texting during the game and I was just like, are the Lions really about to just stomp the 49ers right now? Like I can't believe we're watching this. And then ultimately the 49ers came back and won. So really impressive come from behind win for them.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I was watching that first half and I was like, is this about to get really ugly? Even though in the back of my head, I'm like, there's no way that the Niners go out this sad. So, did I expect them to come back and win? No, but did I expect them to show some fight in that second half? Absolutely. But yeah, great win for them. They what was this, like the second time that they've actually had to come from behind win, and like under Shanahan, because he's been really bad in the second half when he's losing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's weird, but yeah, I think you're right.
Which is crazy because of how good a coach he is.
Yeah, I think that's
So
such a weird thing. I don't know the exact numbers. I think it's 2, but, like,
yeah,
I've never seen, like, any, like, you see that's, like, one of those stats that you see, like, on Twitter, but, like, you never see it, like,
from like
no
a
no
credible source.
yeah, like, from a credible source, so maybe it's true, but I have no idea. Bro,
You see it
Chris
from like Tyrone Niners fan 402.
yeah, so I'm like, I have no idea, like, if that's true or not. Bro, can before we get into the Super Bowl preview, Chris, Chris Davis, obviously, like,
Yeah,
he's texting me right now. So last night he walked into a gas station and went to buy like a drink, and he went back. He was inside for like 2 minutes. He walks back outside. His front driver, not driver's side, passenger side window is completely smashed, like smashed in, like bad, like completely gone. They took his laptop, all of his hard drives, his wallet, and like some other shit. Bro,
three
he
in 3 minutes.
yeah, bro.
Is he in
So he
Atlanta?
yeah. So bro, he was sick, like texting me about it. He FaceTimed me and I said, I'm recording a video. What's good? And he sent me a picture of him with all of his hard drives in his hand. And I was like, how the fuck did you get that back? And he said, bro, some dude found my bag. I said, how? He said, he saw it in the middle of the road with a laptop hanging out of the bag, searched my name up on Instagram because he found my wallet, and then my number was on there. And he texted him and he got all of his stuff back in like
Holy shit.
less than 24 hours.
Bro, that guy that did that, or whoever reached out to Chris is a literal angel. That's
Dude,
like that guy's
that's
getting the greatest karma of all time. I hope that guy gets sucked off.
bro, I don't know if it was the guy that stole it and realized that he couldn't do anything with it or something. I don't know, but or it just like flat got actually that's the real story. But whatever, like the fact that he got everything back, like a laptop and everything like that, like I thought that shit was good as gone.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody breaks into your car and steals all your shit, like it's true. I'm immediately like, wow, I'm never getting any of that back.
Yeah, yeah, like that's
And for him to
gone.
get it back within 24 hours is absolutely insane. It
Bro,
does, now that you mentioned it, it does feel like this guy probably realized he couldn't do a single thing with any of that
anything.
equipment and was like, "Why did I just do that?"
Yeah, and like I think that could be it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. It seems sketchy to me.
That
But
quick of a turnaround too, and like, what if you stole the bags? You're just gonna casually drop it on the road?
great, bro, like Chris said he went up to the police and the guys were like, "We sit at this gas station all the time because this is like what they do."
So it's actually funny that you mentioned that. This guy that I work with, his son, lives in Maryland,
Mhm.
like Baltimore, and um, just got all four of his car tires stolen off of his car.
I mean, that I don't even know like
Sucks,
what
but honestly, it's very
bro,
funny.
if that happened to me, I would be so shook. Like
He
if
walked
all
out to his car and there's like a jack, like they used like a milk crate basically to jack the car up and then take all the tires off.
that's so wrong. They do that shit in Philly all the time.
Yeah, I remember when Kunkel was putting out like a tweet almost every other day of somebody getting their car broken into or tires stolen. Well, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was. Sorry, I just when he sent me that picture, I was literally like, "That's so fucking crazy that you just got your stuff back." Like, bro,
Good for him.
all of his work was on those hard drives from like the last like 3 years.
Yeah, he pretty much would have just had multiple a couple grand stolen from him, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Um,
Crazy.
and all right, so I figured that we'd probably deep dive the Super Bowl like on a later date, like a little
Yeah,
bit,
like
but
the week of.
like we can obviously like talk about like the initial line and like the our feelings. Like the opening line is -1.5. Chiefs are underdogs, and the over under is sitting at 47.5. Um,
The Chiefs are underdogs. I thought I saw that that line swung all the way back to the Chiefs being favorites.
not on FanDuel. I haven't seen that anywhere.
Maybe I misread it because I
Um,
can't read.
yeah, I mean, I just will never like I'll just never bet on the Chiefs. So pretty much I have no indication of betting any sort of money on the Chiefs for this game. Like be the week before the game, Christian McCaffrey could be ruled out and Debo, and I'd still bet on the Niners.
Really?
I just don't like the Chiefs. I can't watch them win another Super Bowl. Like like I would rather be miserable than watch them lose another Super Bowl
Then win another Super Bowl.
than win another Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I keep seeing when this Super Bowl matchup first came out, I saw a tweet. Um, let me see if I can pull it up here real quick.
Can I go grab my drink real quick?
Yeah, I saw a tweet that was pretty much like describing the matchup. Where is it? There's no way I'm going to be able to find it. Uh, oh, here it is. All right. So this tweet is a poster and it says Hitler versus Stalin, the Eastern Front, 1941 to 1945, and the caption is just Chiefs versus 49ers Super Bowl, and that's just because everybody hates both of these teams. So, like we said before, this was not the matchup that anybody wanted to see, but I mean, I can't keep betting against Mahomes at this point. I didn't bet on the Ravens and I didn't bet on the Dolphins directly against Mahomes, but I just can't like at this point it's getting to where you bet against Mahomes and you're just losing money.
Happy birthday, bro! Fuck Mahomes.
I mean, yeah, but I'm not if I'm not even I don't know if I'm even going to bet on a money line. I'll probably just end up taking props, which is cuz what I normally do, but it's just to the point where Mahomes is just you can't bet against him.
Well, I'm going to
Well, I wish you luck
every time.
every
I,
time.
no, no, I agree with you. I feel what you're saying. I mean, I think it's a fair. I think it's like extremely fair thing to say. I mean, he's extremely good and he doesn't lose, so like yeah, there's that. And it seems like they're playing their best football and they kind of figured things out. And it seems like the entire team has really gained confidence, like a lot of confidence. So other than Kadarius Tony, and like yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Kadarius Tony is an absolute fucking wild card.
Nutbag.
He is bro. He doesn't give a single fuck about anything. I don't think,
I mean, I don't understand how that guy's still on an NFL team.
because I don't know either. Like it's weird. Like he just seems to be like a pretty weird guy. Like honestly, like I even like him like I guess like being hurt, but like saying that he had like the birth of his daughter, and then him saying that he's not hurt. Like he's just such an eye guy. It feels like
Yeah, I mean, he gives off Antonio Brown vibes, like
no,
less CTE ish.
way worse, way
No,
worse.
way worse,
Yes, bro.
bro. Bro,
Antonio
Kadarius
Brown,
Toney never took his shirt off and ran off the field. How can we even say that?
but that was close to the
Legendary move, but, like,
but
still.
but Kadarius Toney's doing all of this under the age of 25. Like that's something that you seriously need to take into account.
I mean, I am.
Like age
Like, he's
matters in
on the
this
pathway of
situation.
of AB, no doubt. He's on that pathway of Antonio Brown. CTESPN is where he's going next. But but he hasn't gotten there quite yet.
Yeah.
So, uh, I mean, who knows? Maybe, like, they run a one-step, like, bubble screen to him in the Super Bowl, and Chase Young just decapitates him, and then we see him really lose touch, and then go full Antonio Brown vibes on us.
Dude, I am going to place a large amount of money that Kadarius Toney scores a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Who do you think the next NFL player is to go Antonio Brown on us? I think DK Metcalf's right there, bro. He's right on the verge of it.
I don't know. It's hard to say because like the next one was Chandler Jones.
Oh,
And
he's
like
gone. He's
and
so
I don't
gone. But he's
think
not even in the NFL anymore.
but like I didn't think that we would like Chandler Jones seemed to be like a pretty normal dude. And
It
then like
happened so quickly.
bro, nothing was crazier than the one video when he was naked in his house and he flipped the camera around and he was just wearing a beanie and he was just fully naked and showed his peen on camera. Like that was crazy.
That video was insane, dude.
It was so funny.
I was so shook when he did that. He's in, like, what, Arizona, and he's just wearing a beanie and he's
Yeah,
naked. That
yeah,
is
completely
such a
naked.
crazy combo.
I'm trying to think of like who is I don't know. That's what I think that what it comes down to is like maybe expect like the most unexpected guy. And I'm not
Bro,
saying
I
Chandler Jones was the most unexpected, but I didn't see it coming as bad as it hit him.
I think Trent Williams might be a
No.
low key.
Dude, I would be so sad
I
because
would be too, but I
he's
could
the
low key see it.
he's
He might be on the
fresh.
pathway. He is on the pathway.
He's fresh. I
He is
like
so
him.
fresh, but I thought AB was fresh too. When he did
He,
that Lego Man haircut.
yeah, that shit was hard. Man, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. I'm sorry. I can't even.
Mine are DK. I think DK is the current NFL player that is the closest to going there.
Mine's Bo Nix.
Great.
No,
Did
just
you
kidding.
so have you been following any of the Senior Bowl stuff?
Yeah, I actually have. So we have actual boots on ground at the Senior Bowl right now.
Who's down there? Mr.
Some
Ford?
some yeah, we got some inside guys down there at the Senior Bowl.
All right, what's the verdict? Because I've seen a couple things.
Um, every quarterback there sucks.
That's exactly what I've been saying.
He pretty much said that all of them have been like extremely, extremely underwhelming. And it's weird because when I was at the East West Shrine last year and Dorian Thompson Robinson was there. He was like kind of the key line guy at quarterback. It was him.
Yep.
Zay Flowers was there. And Dorian Thompson Robinson looked so fucking bad like the
Yeah.
entire week. And then he still got drafted and he played this year. So maybe there will be some guys that still get drafted. But yeah, I think that kind of what we know is that these guys that go and play in these like all-star games, like a lot of them like are low key pretty bad.
Yeah, so I have this article pulled up here right now. It came out an hour ago or so, pretty much just like highlighting day 2 of the Senior Bowl, and like the opening headline is just that Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. have been very underwhelming, and today they looked really bad. I mean, I saw a route that was run by who's the receiver from Michigan, the good one.
I forget his name. I know what you're talking about though.
Either way, I saw him run like a double move type route out and up, and he beat the guy, but Bo Nix threw the ball like 5 yards behind him.
Uh,
So
for some context for the people, the quarterbacks right now at the Senior Bowl are Bo Nix, Michael Pratt. He plays from Tulane. I think he's probably the best one out there. Michael Penix Jr., Spencer Rattler sucks. Carter Bradley, Sam Hartman, and Joe Milton. Joe Milton measured in at 6'5", 235. He's big as hell. Um, and honestly, what I've heard is like Spencer Rattler is going to be pretty much undraftable. He sucks. And then like all these other guys are like really bad. And then like Penix and Bo Nix were kind of going to be like the guys that like had the most attention on them. Like if people don't know about the Reese's Senior Bowl, like this is where like Baker Mayfield goes to play. He went there to play. I mean, if you're going to be the Reese's Senior Bowl is more of the premier one where if you're going to be like a third to first rounder, or you have some room to kind of grow, you have an opportunity to go and play in front of NFL scouts, head coaches, and work with them directly, get interviewed by them, and kind of like a temperature check like on the game. So it gives you, if you're invited to one of these games, it gives you kind of a really big advantage because you get to have a little bit more exposure to all of these like coaches and scouts, etc.
I'm upset because I thought I bookmarked this tweet about like the day one guys that looked really good. Um, but Theo Johnson was on that list, which was refreshing to see. The
Mm-hmm.
tight end from Penn State. If I can find it, I'll send it over to you. But I'm looking through the roster right now. Um, I don't know. Is there two things that are going on? Is it just the Reese Senior Bowl right now?
What was that?
What was what?
Did you not just see all those balloons just pop up?
No, I had my other tab pulled up.
Oh, it's
Would you
the
stop?
Reese's. No, the balloons just popped up on your screen. Um, it's the Reese's Senior Bowl and the East West Shrine. The East West Shrine right now is in Dallas.
Okay, so the East West Shrine is, I think, what I saw. No, it would have been Bone East West Shrine. Either way, I should have looked into this a little bit more before we
Dude, it's
came on
okay.
here. Um,
I figured we'd recap it next week when it's kind of like all said and done.
yeah, I just wanted to see, just kind of go over some of the things that I'm seeing at like early so far.
Mm.
Um, a guy that has been standing out is the wide receiver from Georgia.
Laid McConkey.
Yeah, dude, his routes look so crispy. And I understand you're just going one on one. There's no other defense or anything like that. But like at face value, these routes are he's snapping these off. And I keep seeing people comparing him to Cooper Cup, but like that's an insane comparison.
I mean, Laid
It's just because he's
McConkey's
white.
Laid McConkey's really good. He's 6 foot 185. If you watch Georgia play at all, he's a big game hunter. Like he made the biggest plays in the biggest moments. He has really solid hands. He runs really good routes. He's not the fastest guy, which if we kind of look at the history of wide receivers who have been panned out over like the last decade, the guys who turn out to be like really, really good. I mean, obviously there's some anomalies like Tyreek Hill, but the guys who turn out to be really good are guys who don't run a straight line as quickly as some other guys do. So what you kind of have to look out for is that lateral movement and that lateral speed and not that straight line speed. I don't think he's going to run really fast, but you kind of see like Amon-Ra St. Brown run like a 4.7. Um, who Puka Nakua ran like a 4.7, and those guys turn out to be like really impactful wide receivers in the league. And that's kind of the feeling that I get from Laid McConkey. Maybe I think Amon-Ra St. Brown maybe grew out of the uh comparison, and so did Puka Nakua because they're really fucking good, but kind of like that slot route technician guy that's able to like get open and has really reliable hands. Like I love Lin.
Yeah, Amon-Ra ran a 4.59, which is crazy to see because just looks so much faster on the field when he has the football. And let me see what Puka ran his in.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Did you hear what I said?
No, I fucking lagged out. What did you say?
I said that Amon-Ra ran a 4.59 40, which is like
Oh, okay.
crazy. Um, because he looks way faster than that when he has the football on the field. Um, I'm looking up Puka's right now, and I'm sure it's probably similar. Yeah, 4.57. So like two guys that are just beasts as far as when you get the football in their hand. I mean, they're both great route runners, I would say too, but they're not like blazing speed. They're just two guys that look way faster when they have the football. And another guy that was like that, like Jerry Rice didn't run the best 40, but he's obviously like a top 3 wide receiver ever. So
No, he's the
I
best ever.
I think Randy is, but um
It's not close. Listen, I
I know.
love Randy
I
Moss, but
know,
it
but I'm
isn't
gonna
close.
still vouch for Randy. It's definitely Jerry Rice, I know that, but I'm still gonna say my favorites my goat is Randy.
I agree.
Um,
My goat's also Randy, but it is Jerry.
it is.
You hate the Niners, dude. You got to get out of that.
That was not even intentional.
Okay.
I just love Randy Moss. But anyways, I think it just goes to show you don't need to have you don't need to run a 4.2 to be good in the NFL.
I
Obviously, it
think
helps, but like if you can run a 4.2, but if you can run slower, but the crispiness and the precision that you run your routes in is going to be way more important because that makes up for lack of straight line speed, right? Like
which one of these burners like have really worked out though? Like in
that's
the
what I was gonna
NFL.
say. I've never seen.
They
I
really
haven't
don't.
seen. I mean, truly, the last burner that we've seen is Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
but
like the last guy that's been just an absolute burner that was like that good.
yeah, he like he was great at tracking the ball. Like it just seems like I just don't see these burners like just flat don't work out anymore. It seems
John
like
Ross the
so
third.
like every single time that like you get like people get really enamored with the fact of these 40 times whenever we start getting around the draft. And me and Andrew made a pact together last year that was whichever the fastest wide receiver is, we're pretty much saying that he sucks. Like that's just like that's the rule of thumb from now on.
All right, listen to this. So I pulled up the top 11 fastest 40-yard dashes. So it's 2013. Fabian Washington, corner from Nebraska.
Yes.
Jacoby Ford, wide receiver, Clemson. Okay, Fabian Washington ran a 4.29. Jacoby Ford, wide receiver, Clemson, ran a 4.28. JJ Nelson ran a 4.28, wide receiver, UAB. Jalen Myrick, cornerback, Minnesota, 4.28. Tyrone Calico, wide receiver, Middle Tennessee, 4.27. Stanford route, cornerback, Houston, 4.27. Marquise Goodwin, wide receiver, Texas, 4.27. Jerome Mathis, wide receiver from Hampton, 4.26. Dre Archer, running back, Kent State, 4.26. Chris Johnson, running back, East Carolina, 4.24. John Ross, Washington, 4.22. So out of those 11 guys, one of them has been a memorable name.
Yeah, Chris Johnson.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So,
And then if you play Madden, John Ross is obviously a memorable name because
yeah, of course.
he was the wide
He's wide
receiver
receiver 3 for everybody.
that you got late, and he like led the league in pass in receiving yards.
Yeah. I I actually just saw a clip come up on Twitter the other day of like a couple running backs running their 40s, and it's all starters in the NFL. It was like Justice Hill, Saquon, Miles Sanders, um who else ran it?
Wade McConkey.
No, it was all just like late round guys
Yeah.
um besides Saquon and Miles Sanders, but all of these guys were running like 4.5s basically, which like as a running back, obviously being faster helps, but
Does
if you're
it?
running, I think so. I mean, I think it would help if like you can still do everything else good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just think the speed thing is so like
It's not as
it's
important as everybody on Twitter makes it seem.
it just seems like whenever like the 40 comes up, it's like the most impactful thing that's going on at the combine, and like it's probably maybe the least important thing that everybody does. Because you
I
see
think
guys who aren't running great times be some of the most dominant players in the NFL.
I I think once the NFL combine comes around, we rank what we think the most important things are um, that the players test at.
Yeah, let's do it. Bro,
So if you want to make a note of that, I don't have a piece of paper. I don't have my notebook by me. If you want to write that down,
yeah, I will. What did Brock Purdy run in college at the combine for his
six
40?
five.
A 4.8.
Yeah, I know it's so slow.
So like, and that guy just ran for 60 yards against the Lions defense last week. So like,
Yeah,
I just think that
four
like
eight four. Holy hell, buddy! On hitch the wagon.
I just think it's
That's
so
walking. He's
funny.
walking the 40.
I mean, it's crazy, but like he rushed for 60 yards last week. So like it just goes to show you that it's an overblown stat, but
He's sneaky fast.
yeah, he's gritty. Which we call it. I personally don't have anything else to talk about this evening. If you do or want to go on something, like please feel free.
Okay, let me see here because throughout the week I had just like bookmark a bunch of shit on Twitter
Let's hear it.
that I find interesting as far as like the sports universe goes. A couple things. I think it's important to note that Ben Johnson is staying with the Lions
Oh yeah, yeah.
that we didn't
Let's
talk
talk on
about.
that. Interesting move. I felt like probably everybody kind of slotted him into that Commanders job. I think it's cool to see him and Dan Campbell get another chance, and it probably the DC will come back as well to just
Yeah,
get another chance with this team and continue to build. And yeah, I think the Lions have like a special infrastructure, and that just goes back to more of like what the front office and Dan Campbell have created to kind of keep one of the I think Ben Johnson is probably one of the hottest names on the market, low key. And to be able to keep him in house is probably a pretty big deal for all of them. So yeah, shout out the Lions and shout out Ben Johnson for wanting to stay around and keep building.
a couple things that I thought of when I saw that he was staying. So my my initial thought was phenomenal for the Lions. Like I think it's pretty agreed upon that Ben Johnson's probably the best OC in the NFL. I think a lot of people really like that guy, and I think a lot of people would have taken him as their head coach if he was interested. Um, if he were to have left, I had a theory that so Dan Campbell mentioned this at the end of the game that um, he really thought that this was their year, and we didn't touch on this. His quote was something along the lines of like, "This could have been our only shot," right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I thought about that and I was like, "Dang, he might be right because next year the people are going to I mean, I don't think teams were like, "Oh, it's the Lions, like we're going to just walk all over these guys or they're not going to come out and try and put it on us." But like I think next year the Lions are going to have a target on their back even more so than they did this year just because of how good of a season they had. So, and plus once you win your division, you always end up playing winners of last year's division. Is that how that works? Of other
yeah,
divisions, is that how that works? Yeah,
yeah.
so your schedule gets a hell of a lot tougher. Um, I thought that if Ben Johnson left, I don't know I don't know who would end up have who they would have even considered for that OC spot, but like I thought we could have seen a true regression from this Lions team as far as like no, I don't think it would have been Eagles bad as far as like the last 7 weeks of the season went for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I thought it would have probably been maybe in that realm if they lost a guy like Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Because
No, I agree.
he's phenomenal OC. He has that offense clicking, and you lose a guy like that, he's not easy to replace by any means, which we obviously know that. So I was fully prepared to talk about just like them having a serious regression come the beginning of the season, but amazing job by them keeping him around. To be fair, do you really realistically want to leave the Lions to go be the head coach of the Commanders? We always talk about there's only 32 of
Yes.
these jobs. I get it. Is
Yes.
that a job that you would want?
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of 32 jobs. Yes. 100 times out of 100.
What do you like? What do you think his reasoning is for wanting to stay?
I think that he probably it's one of two things. He probably he might not have, and you're an offensive coordinator in the NFL, so you have to have some sort of god complex like in your mind to get this far.
Yeah,
It's either he didn't believe that he would have been the right fit for the rebuild and he didn't want to fail, and he was like, well, like I can stay in Detroit and still run a really great Lions offense, and next year when when jobs open up as well, there's a different landscape and there might be a better job available or whatever, and that's probably the way he thought about it. And but I don't know exactly. I mean, me personally, like, I mean, you see like Dave Canales like take the Panthers job, like it's one of 32. Now he gets an opportunity to go and try to rebuild the Panthers and do the same thing. And you kind of would have thought that Ben Johnson would have looked at the situation and with the Commanders and been like, okay, like I'm gonna go to the Commanders. We have a ton of cap space. We have some good players. We have the number 2 pick in the draft. I'm gonna get Drake May. Like I don't see how much of a better job that is, honestly. Like you get to go in with a young team, brand new quarterback, an ownership group with a ton of money that's gonna like be rebuilding everything. Like, and if you nail that, like you're the big dog. Like, honestly.
yeah. I was more so just asking you as like as like a thought exercise because I think that that's a very tough situation to pass up. I mean, they completely cleared house. They have a ton of cap space. They have a great draft pick, and it seems like they actually have a good foundation for upper management and leadership now that everybody's gone. And it seems like they actually have guys that care about football up there. Um,
It's
so
he just must have some sort of connection with Detroit and understands that they're bringing a lot of these guys back, and maybe he was just like, this is my best opportunity to win a Super Bowl in the next year or two, like, and I want to have that chance at doing it. Maybe that's it. Like,
and that's what I was gonna say is you go there, like go to Washington, and how quick of a rebuild do we realistically think happens there? I would say
we don't
2 3
know.
years probably
It-
would. I'm guessing. I'm
yeah.
guessing that's probably 2 to 3 years, but and obviously anything can happen. Um, you're in a spot where you're the best team in your division in Detroit, and if you can pretty much bring back
Are you?
a lot of, I think so.
It's close.
I think it's no doubt. I think Green Bay's right behind them, but
Yeah.
I think that the Lions are better. Um, they have an opportunity if where they can bring a lot of guys back, maybe win the division again, right back in the playoffs, right back in a great spot as far as um, who they have from a roster standpoint, and like I don't know, maybe he I think he also kind of knows like, hey, I can pretty much get a head coaching job whenever I want because like he's been that good of an OC, and normally the transition is OC to head coach. So like it feels like if there's a better, I don't know if there's going to be a better opportunity next year as a head coaching spots. We obviously won't know that until the season ends, starts, whatnot. But it feels like it's going to be right up there with like Bieniemy, where a lot of people are looking to have him be a head coach or at least go through that process, but like a guy that's clearly a good OC and people want him on their team, want him, but actually teams will want Ben Johnson, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. There is something though that I've wanted to bring up with you as well. Adam went and interviewed the Boston College head coach. His
Did this just
name
happen?
is Jeff Heffley, and he literally sat there with Adam, gave him an entire rundown of like Boston College and how he's building it and the recruits and all
Oh,
this
and then he
shit.
left. Yeah.
And then he got hired by the Packers for the Packers DC job today.
Yeah, I
So,
saw that.
I think a quote that Jim Harbaugh gave out was important this past week when he said they were like, "Oh, like why'd you come out?" He was like, "Listen, college is college, but like the college game doesn't have the Lombardi Trophy." Same,
Correct.
same, same situation here. Like you have an opportunity to go coach in the NFL, like you have to go and do it because it matters most. And also on top of it, I saw another quote that said that like there's going to be some high profile coaches in the next like 2 years that are going to just like retire until they fix the game. Like
Andy
they
Reid.
just they just no, like in college.
Oh.
Like that they're just gonna retire like high profile coaches in college football who don't agree with what is going on right now from like an NIL standpoint and all of the stuff that's happening transfer portal, and they just are gonna essentially retire and wait for it to get fixed. I think it's really interesting with how the college game is going currently. It just seems to be like a shootout and a complete shit show, and um it seems like the coaches are always lying about the players, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like you look at Dan, and I think Dan Lanning's a really good example of this, where he was the Pickens for the Alabama job, and he pretty much got on and was like, "Yeah, like I told everybody that I wanted to build here, and
Mhm.
like I told my players I'd be here for them." Like that guy actually takes pride of it. All the other coaches, they just say it to say it, and I just think it's really funny.
I mean, to be fair,
Like, it's not like you can be like, "Well, I'm gonna leave in, like, 2 years," like
yeah, you can't go to your team and say like, this is a lot of fun. I'm gonna build here, but if Alabama sends me an offer, like I'm walking over there and taking it immediately. Like you're not
Mhm.
gonna go in there with that mindset as a head coach, telling your players that. It might be your actual mindset because obviously the Alabama job is one of the best, but it is refreshing that Dan Lanning actually, and especially as like a if you're a player, like you you want to commit to a place because you like the coaches, you like the school, you like everything about where you're going, and you trust the guys that are coaching you. And if they end up leaving, like that sucks because then you have to open everything back up and go through the whole process again. Where like, am I going to go somewhere where this coach could just leave right away? Like that's honestly kind of what it's feeling like is players are doing it, coaches are doing it where you go somewhere and 2 years later you're gone and whether you're a coach or a player. It's just there's just so many moving parts more so now than ever that I can totally understand why head coaches are gonna like these bigger name guys are gonna retire, but also this was what the first year of all of this. Like obviously there's things that need to be worked on, and I'm hoping that the NCAA is like doing its due diligence to realize like we have to kind of put some guidelines and on everything that's happening and get some more structure when it comes to this. So I would hope that they're doing that. But also who knows because the NCAA is like such a joke of an
Mm.
organization.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting that, like, the guy sat there with Adam and said all of this shit about, like, Boston. I didn't watch the episode, but, I mean, it's all the coaches get the same song and dance, and I clicked on the interview after Adam, like, posted it, and everybody was just like, "He lied to your face. He did this. He did that." So, like, it's just, like it's pretty funny.
Does Adam know this guy like on a personal level?
Probably not.
So like, what does this guy owe Adam?
I mean,
To be fair,
it's not even owing Adam. Like it's just like the owing like at the end of the day, like he is the face of like I mean, it is Boston College and might not mean a lot to you, but like they pay a lot of money for him to like be like the face of Boston College pretty much because football is the most important thing there.
of
So
course.
like that stuff matters, like the way that they like view it. Like for me, I don't give a fuck, but like I just think it's funny.
I mean, if I'm a player and I see that, I'm obviously like, damn, what just happened?
Yeah.
If I'm a fan, I'm like, what just happened? Like it hits a little harder if that's like your team or where you went or whatnot. But as an outsider, when I see stuff like that, I'm just like, I take it at face value. I take it as a grain of salt because how often, as a college football coach, does the NFL come knocking and say, hey, do you want to be a coordinator? Do you want to be a head coach? Do you want to do something at the NFL level? Probably not that, like, especially for a guy at Boston College, probably not that often.
Yeah.
Like, can realistically anybody blame him for leaving Boston College to go coach the defense of the Green Bay Packers? No.
No.
Exactly. So like it is what it is. It sucks if you're a player. It sucks if you're a fan. Um, he did just lie to AB right to his mitt, but like at the end of the day, it's business and these guys have to look out for themselves too. So like I understand that that's how it works.
Yeah.
There was one other thing that I wanted to bring up, and that another head or another OC that we were keeping an eye on was Bobby Slowick. He was
Yes.
getting some buzz, and he's staying with the Texans,
Yes. I
which
think
I think is a very big deal as well.
bro, honestly, I think that playoff performance, like, I think it mattered. Honestly, like the way that the offense looked, like, um, I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's like the sole reason he didn't get the jobs, but I think it matters that he like didn't produce. I think that if they came out and maybe gave them a very good fight on offense or whatever, like maybe you would have had a better chance. But I mean, at the same time, Vrabel and Bill Belichick don't have jobs right now, so maybe I'm dead wrong.
Did I thought I said this earlier? Maybe a couple weeks, maybe like a week ago or two, but this was like the first year that this guy has taken over as like the OC and play caller, and I feel like it was just a very quick jump for him to go to all of that type of responsibility this year to head coach next year.
Yeah,
I think he benefits more in the long run staying at Houston, and
that's what D'Amico did.
yeah, I think he
D'Amico was
benefits
a
more from that.
no. D'Amico was a coordinator for 1 year on defense, and then got a head coaching job.
Well, shit, good for him. I thought he was there for a little bit longer, but I don't know. I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like it's
I think that
beneficial
like a
for.
lot of these guys that like do really well at the coordinator spots, they're just kind of like, well, like let's just get them in here. Like,
Well, yeah, because NFL teams are so quick to hire or to interview the hot, fresh, sexy new offensive coordinator, whether if even if it is a year of experience under their belt.
no,
Because
definitely.
offense is a premium, and it's tough to find a good offensive coordinator, tough to find a good head to coach. So like, I get it, but it seems like a huge jump.
I mean,
But I guess I'm wrong.
I couldn't do it.
Well, yeah, it's because you're deaf in your left ear,
Right.
right ear. You couldn't wear the headset.
Yeah, my new job
Uh,
gave me a headset, and there's a microphone on this side and just one headphone on my right side, and I'm like, I can't use this.
all right, that's all I got for today.
All right, dude. Well, I got to go to sleep because I didn't sleep last night, and I was I was literally taking 5-minute naps in between meetings today at work, so I need to go to sleep.
Yeah, I need to go eat dinner. I haven't eaten anything yet, so I'm pretty hungry. I'm gonna go have some spaghetti.
All right, brother.
All right.